Hi, this is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden, and welcome to Shifting Perspectives. We're going to go ahead and take a minute to cover your healing journey plan. This is something I love to talk about. It's absolutely one of my favorite things. When we begin our healing journey, most of us go in without a plan. In fact, almost no one goes in without a plan. If you have a therapist, there's going to be an intake. And the intake, I actually need to do a video where I just explain what happens when you start therapy and what the intake process looks like, because it's a huge fear that a lot of people have, is the unknown. What's going to happen when I enter therapy? Is there a big room? What's the process? How long? There's so many questions that a person has. And they don't even know the questions to ask. They just know it's an unknown, and that terrifies the hell out of them. So we're going to go ahead and cover your healing journey plan. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and talk about what happens when you go into therapy. So basically, there's an intake process, and the intake is going over your past. It's covering your history, and there's basically an intern who is trained, and they will sit there and they will enter. They basically start your file for you. Now, this is done privately, absolutely in a private space, and they are trained so that when you go into therapy and you begin for your intake, expect it to take up to 4 hours. And depending upon the amount of trauma to cover, I mean, they cover everything from as much as you can remember from the beginning all the way up to where you are presently. They want a full history. It is private. It is absolutely trained, and it's a very safe environment, even though you might not feel safe. It is absolutely safe. And then the intake process is basically them asking the questions they need to cover all the stages of your life and everything that's taken place. That way they get a big picture. That file is then uploaded into the computer, and you are assigned a therapist. Now, pre-COVID, this is 2015, I had a 4 week wait. There is a wait list, and my wait list was 4 weeks. That was with me at the top of the list, because my situation was so severe that they elevated me to the top of the list. Now, the waiting is the hardest part, because you don't know, and you have no idea what life is going to be like when it's time for you to begin. If you have not heard from somebody, follow up. Absolutely follow up. And then when you are assigned a therapist, they give you a call and say you've been assigned a therapist. This is when your first introduction meeting. So when you go into therapy, it's basically you, a therapist, and they establish trust, which is vital to you opening up and talking to them. Once they establish trust, they cover basically around the second or third visit, they're going to cover something which is basically what are your goals? They evaluate how you feel about suicidal ideation, and they won't judge you. And they will just examine whether or not you should be put on medication, and they will discuss your options with you, and you will speak to a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist is a type of an MD. I'm not sure if they actually are an MD. I didn't think they were an MD. I just thought they were medically trained. And then I spoke to a doctor when I was at the hospital, and they had mentioned something about, oh, they thought I was a psychiatrist, not a psychologist. So they asked if I had an MD. And I went, so I don't know. Let me just take a look here quickly. I like to go by facts. Professional counselor, psychiatrist. Okay, yeah, they are MDs. So psychiatrists are MDs. And they basically look into what prescriptions best are suited for you. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. So you can opt out of medication. That's absolutely your choice. No one is going to pressure you into anything. The psychologist is going to give you their opinion, and that's about it. A therapist or a social worker is somebody who is about 4 years of psychology, 2 to 4 years, usually 4 years, and they are overseen by a psychologist. So in most cases, you actually won't see a psychologist. A psychologist has about 8 to 10 years of education, and the psychologist oversees the therapist. The therapist, again, is about 4 to 6 years. I'm sorry, 2 to 4 years of psychology studies. So when you get to the evaluation, it's basically monitoring your depression, it monitors your sadness, your suicidal ideation, if that's a problem. And then from there, what they do is they evaluate a suicidal ideation plan. This is a plan that you have in place in case things get that bad. And again, there's no locking you up. There's no anything. They basically give you coping skills. They talk about cognitive behavioral therapy and grounding. That's huge with them. Is they'll give you grounding, using your five senses to establish where you are and if you are safe, and basically reminding yourself visually and with senses that you are in the present. And this is a phenomenal process for anyone who suffers from PTSD. And I'm going to be blunt, it's a phenomenal process for every mental condition out there, with a few exceptions. The other exceptions enter dialectical behavioral therapy, and that's the same thing. It's cognitive behavioral therapy. It's the grounding and the meditation. It's the pausing, the stepping back, the reassessing and confirming that, yes, you are in a safe place. And then it's the redirecting. But with dialectical behavioral therapy, you also add formal argument and debate inside of that as well, that you engage with your subconscious mind on. So what all of this does is that's pretty much it. Is they want to know what your goals are. And every 6 months they revisit this. Now, this is where, for me personally, I found it very inadequate, because I like the big picture. I like to see where I am, where I'm going. So, what I have is something else. I refer to this as the Healing Garden Journey plan, basically, and it covers 10 points. So in this video, I'm going to cover the 10 points of the Healing Garden plan, so you know everything that needs to be done when you conduct your healing journey. These are literally all 10 points to check them off, to make sure that what you are doing hits every one of these 10 points. And this is available. If you look down on the video below, you can see in the comments these 10 points highlighted for you. And then there is a link that you can actually go through if you want to utilize the Healing Garden for your journey plan. You can click on which is the best option for you. And that link will take you to my website, where you actually get to go through a kind of a quiz. And the quiz will basically help you design a plan according to either your budget, your results, or your timeline. So you can choose whatever you want for you. So that being said, let's go ahead and take a look here. These 10 points. The first one is nurturing and support your identity's freedom to define itself. That is the first stage of, it's the first part of the healing journey plan, is making sure that you are nurturing and supporting your identity. Your identity needs to feel the freedom to define itself, to explore, and to figure out what it loves and doesn't love. That way you have your solid core beginning part of where you are and who you are. The second thing is nurture and tune into your intuition to know when you need to act, deter, or wait. Your intuition is that gut feeling that tells you if you need to wait, pause, or jump. It's 100% a navigational system, and nurturing and tuning into your intuition is a huge part of helping your identity navigate where you want to go in life. And the next one is an educated, consciously aware, and mindful ego to manage and attend the inner workings of your mental system. Your ego, that is you, is 100% responsible for your navigation. It's responsible for your entire mental health and mental system. By you being consciously aware and mindful, and this list itself is actually defining all the things that you need to be accountable for. By being aware of this, by putting your ego in charge, you can now consciously take action and take control of your own mental health. Without your ego, your subconscious mind runs the show. And that's the problem, is your subconscious mind does not know how, because it's not consciously aware. And your subconscious mind is not equipped to do it effectively, which is the problem. Your subconscious mind will activate fear systems and mental illnesses instead, of actually addressing the problem. So, by activating your ego and putting education and conscious awareness into your ego, into you, you can better manage and attend your inner workings so you can reach optimum mental wealth. The fourth thing is having a disciplined subconscious mind that works so efficiently it is quiet and goes mostly unnoticed by your ego. This is one of my favorite things about the subconscious mind is when you reach optimum mental wealth, your subconscious mind is almost unexistent. You don't notice it, you don't feel it. There's no emotions, there's no massive persuasion, there's no control. It's just you living your life tuned into what you want, what you desire, where you're going, and if your intuition is telling you whether it's time to wait or how to act. When you are disciplined, your subconscious mind is quietly in the back just running things the way it should be running it. It's a beautiful process. The next thing is a balanced and aligned cognitive core that is free of toxic and limiting beliefs. By having no limiting beliefs or being aware of what exactly a limiting belief is, it's part of your fear system. It's actually a hidden fear that's been disguised as a belief embedded into your cognitive core. When you have a balanced and aligned healing journey plan, it eliminates and it addresses your toxic beliefs that create mental illness. Mental illnesses come from toxic beliefs. So once you're aware of this, it will actually eliminate the toxic beliefs and you'll be able to remove them from your system. The next thing is the absence and removal of all invasive perspectives that misalign your cognitive core. An invasive perspective is a perspective that is accumulated, that results from abuse and trauma. It is your mental illness. An invasive perspective is the thing that is invented by your abuser that requires your mental illness to develop so you can survive in that invasive perspective. It's not yours at all. And when an abuser puts an invasive perspective inside of you, your cognitive core, your subconscious mind can't figure out which perspective to follow, which is why you see mood swings, which is why you see indecisiveness, which is why you see inconsistency, is because your subconscious mind is trying to serve two masters at the same time. So, a properly well rounded out healing journey plan will address and remove the invasive perspective from your cognitive core that is causing your misalignment. The other thing is an ego that is fully aware of the proper reception and execution of your emotional management system with which to run and operate your cognitive core and your mental system. When you have a well rounded healing journey plan, you understand the role that emotions take, how to manage those emotions, and how to execute them or how to use them effectively for your system so you can get the job done to balance out and align your system. Our emotions are an intricate, highly logical, mandatory part of our cognitive core and mental system, and our society conditions us to throw them out, which is why there's a problem. So, understanding or having an ego that is fully aware of the emotional management system is dire to making sure that you retain optimum mental wealth. The next one is a fear system that is completely deactivated. In order to do this, you are going to need your defense system, which is the next thing is a strong, healthy defense system that is free to convert anger into effective, assertive communication and boundary setting. So when you have your defense system that is coupled and maintained properly with your communication and your boundary system, you have no need for a fear system. The fear system shuts down. To shut down your fear system, that is going to require soothing, reassurance, validation, and empathy. But once you manage and maintain your fear system, your defense system is also empowered, and a proper healing journey will also nurture and enforce your defense system, your communication system, and your boundary system. And the last one is a positive mental emotional environment that cultivates optimism, opportunity, and joy, and that is void of mental illness and the fear system. By being aware of your mental emotional environment, it allows you the ability to basically weigh in and determine things like scarcity and abundance. It also allows you to weigh in on optimism and pessimism. And it allows you to actively go in and nurture the right emotional management or the right mental emotional environment in which to cultivate the optimistic best response for your system. So, those are the 10 points that you should be covering in your healing journey plan. Now, how to do all of this? That's where the healing garden steps in. One of the things, basically, anything you do that's self care should be regulated and should be focused on developing your self identity and your intuition. That's really what holistic things do. Things like meditation, Reiki energy, all of those things are absolutely fantastic for grounding you and for nurturing your identity, but they don't touch the subconscious mind. Things like there's a lot of emotional management involved, there's a lot of understanding all the working parts of your cognitive core, the 5 things that make up your cognitive core, and how to manage them. So, go ahead and click on the link below. There is Design Your Journey, and you'll be able to select and go through the quiz like process, and it will show you based again on whether or not your priorities are money, time management, or results. We'll go ahead and put something together for you based around these 10 points. That way you get the absolute utmost from your healing journey. It's absolutely extraordinary once you have all of this in place. And one final thing that we also offer is finding your coordinates, which basically tells you or it shows you how where you are with your ethical perspective, what you value and who you are versus where it is you want to be. And it basically takes your subconscious mind and makes sure that your subconscious mind gets to where it is your ethics want to be, and then how to build a life around that. That's all part of the design journey plan that we have. So thank you so much. And if you love shit like this, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want more shit like this, become a member of the Healing Gardens and sign up, subscribe to the Amphitheater. The Amphitheater will get you a daily self-care regimen that will basically give you assignments, and every day you'll get the meditation video that we do for cultivating and working with conscious awareness and your identity. And you'll also get availability to all of our free resources that literally provide you with our self-care regimen. And if you want to become a member, we offer a free monthly Power of Self course that's in Journey into the Self. And the focus in membership is to integrate everything you learn at the Healing Garden so that you don't regress. Thank you so much, and may the kindest of words always find you.